Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Um, my name is Lauren. I'm a financial aid advisor here at Texas A&M University Commerce. Can you all hear me and see my screen? If we could just get a thumbs up.
Able to see, able to hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so today we're going to talk about financial aid as an international student. So the International Student Financial Aid is a little different than our other students. So we're recording this. You can come back and watch it later. And if you guys have questions, I'll go ahead and answer those in the chat at the end of the presentation. Okay, so let's get into it. So there are a few different funding sources for international students. There's institutional scholarships, outside scholarships, private education loans, and then on-campus employment. So the first one is institutional scholarships. These scholarships are given to you by the university, either through your department or our admissions department when you are accepted to our university. So these are scholarships that are tied to your admissions status. There's also a type of these that are in the donor funded scholarship portal, which we'll talk about next. There's also outside scholarships. We're going to go over that in this presentation as well. Those are scholarships that are outside our university. So you would get those scholarships from an outside party and send the money to our university, and we would add it to your student accounts to help you pay your balance. We also have private education loans, which we'll talk about, and then on-campus employment. So as an international student, you can work an on-campus job. So we'll talk a little bit about how that can help with your finances. So something really important when you're coming into our school is that we have a donor funded scholarship portal. So this is specific to our school and you can find it in your MyLeo apps. So if you log into your MyLeo portal, you will go up top, it says apps and student resources. You'll click on apps and you'll be able to find the donor funded scholarship portal. The donor funded scholarship portal opened October 1st of this year, and those scholarships are for our next aid year. So those scholarships are for fall 2023 and spring 2024. They are not for this fall or this spring because the portal has closed for those opportunities because the application comes out a year in advance. So these scholarships, again, are going to be for your next year of attendance starting in fall 2023. So you're kind of setting yourself up for success when you go and apply for these scholarships. So you'll go into the portal and you'll fill out a general application. It doesn't take too long. It's mostly just personal information. There will be a question that asks you about your estimated family contribution from the FAFSA, but many of our international students are not able to fill out the FAFSA. So you will simply skip over that question when you do the donor funded scholarship application. So you're going to fill out that application and we will auto match you to all of the scholarships you're eligible to apply for. There may be additional scholarships that you're eligible for that you need to go and apply for yourself that have an extra requirement, such as like an essay or a certificate or something like that. So when you go into your MyLeo apps, if you haven't already, go ahead and do your scholarship application. The priority deadline is January 15th, so it's coming up here pretty soon. So all admitted students will have access to go ahead and complete this for our upcoming academic year. If you're chosen to receive a scholarship, you will be emailed automatically to tell you to go into the portal and accept the scholarship. You are encouraged to do that as soon as possible. So we encourage you to, once you apply for scholarships, to be checking your MyLeo email and your MyLeo portal frequently to see if you get any notifications that you can go ahead and accept a scholarship. If you don't accept it within 21 days, the scholarship will be given to another student. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you're checking those notifications after you apply for those scholarships. We also have outside scholarships. So these are the ones that I mentioned that are outside of our university. So these are some really helpful websites that students often find outside scholarships through. So you might want to take note of these websites, take a screenshot, something like that. So these outside scholarship websites will have more information about the scholarships they provide. There are some scholarships for international students. You might have to filter it and search for specifically ones for international students on these websites to find ones that you're eligible to apply for. So what you would do is you would simply apply for the scholarship, and if you were selected to receive it, you would get in contact with our office so that we could get the funds for that scholarship and add it to your student account to help you with your balance. One thing to note about these is that be cautious when you're applying for outside scholarships. If it is asking for like credit card or payment information, it might not be a legitimate scholarship and you might want to skip over that one and go ahead to the next one and apply for that one instead. We also have some outside resources that we recommend for international students. These are some helpful websites that can help you navigate just general college questions and financial aid questions as an international student here in the United States. So these websites, some of them have like a college guide to kind of help you out to see what some frequently asked questions by other students were and how they navigated that, and so on and so forth. So if you have any questions and you just want some additional resources, these are some good resources that we encourage students to go ahead and take a look at on your own. We also have private education loans. So if you don't receive a scholarship or you need additional funding to help you pay your balance, you are welcome to look into a private education loan. So these loans are issued by a lender, such as a bank or a credit union. So they are outside of our institution, but they can send the funds to us. So you would apply with the lender. You would typically, when you apply with the lender, you would complete a credit check. And if you weren't successful in the credit check, you would need to find an endorser, and whatever private loan lender you're looking at can help you do so. These private education loans are repaid with interest, so they're just like any other loan. They're going to have interest. That will need to be paid in addition to the original loan amount that you take out. In order to help students find private education loans, we do have a whole web page on our website that is just for private education loans. And it has a link. It says help finding private education loans. There's a link right under that in blue that says Elm Select for students. This is our historical lender list for private education loans that students have taken out in the past. So if you're wanting to look into getting a private education loan, that would be a good place to start, the Elm Select for students, because it will help you see what students have completed and been able to use for funding in the past. Something to keep in mind is that we don't encourage certain lenders. So we don't have agreements with certain lenders. We just encourage you to go ahead and find a private education loan on your own, since it is outside of our institution. And if you have any questions about private education loans, the best place to email us is fao.loans@tamuc.edu. This will go straight to our loans team, and so we'll be able to assist you with the questions that you have concerning loans. We also have satisfactory academic progress. We call it SAP, so SAP. This is very important for all of our students. So as an international student, you still have to abide by satisfactory academic progress. This means that if you don't abide by satisfactory academic progress, you could lose the financial aid that you have. So private loans are an exception to this. Some private loans will allow you to receive them, even if you're not in good SAP standing. However, most financial aid, including scholarships, will hold you to a higher academic standard to be able to receive that funding. So our GPA requirement for undergraduate students is 2.0. So you must meet a 2.0 at minimum GPA every term and overall the whole time that you are at our institution. This also includes transfer hours. So if you are transferring hours into our institution and they're below a 2.0, then it can affect your SAP. There's also a completion rate that we also look at transfer hours and your time at our institution. So you have to complete at least 67% of your classes. So this means that if you take 12 hours, you have to complete at least 9. So you have to complete at least 67%. So I know that 12 divided by 9 isn't the exact 67%, but you get what I'm saying. So it's really important that you're passing and being successful in your classes. And then the last thing that we look at is completing your degree within a maximum time frame. This is more for our transfer students who are bringing a lot of hours in with them, or students that are seniors or have been with us for a while. Pretty much this means to make sure that you're taking classes that you need for your degree plan, and those are the only classes that you're taking. So if you get up to 150 hours, that's when you'll go on financial aid warning. If you're in a financial aid warning status, you'll still be able to receive financial aid. But if you go on financial aid suspension, so if you have 2 warning semesters back to back with like GPA or completion rate, you will be on financial aid suspension. You'll have to appeal that. So I say this to say, please make sure you're passing your classes and doing well. If you find yourself struggling in classes, please reach out to us. Reach out to your academic advisor, tutoring services, other services on campus to make sure that you're being successful and so that you can keep your financial aid. Another important thing about this is that if you do receive scholarships from our school, they most likely will have some type of GPA requirement that may be above the 2.0. So if you are receiving a scholarship, you'll want to make sure that you're meeting all the requirements for that scholarship in order to stay eligible for the scholarship. Because if you don't meet the requirements, the scholarship could be taken from you and given to another deserving student. So last but not least, the way to contact our office is through fao.web@tmuc.edu. You can also contact us by in person at the Welcome Center, or you can, if you have specifically scholarship questions only, you can email scholarships@tmuc.edu. We also have these 3 social media pages, which we update mostly with different types of deadlines and events that we're having. So you can follow us to see if we're having an event on campus where you can meet us. We recently had an event to help students apply for scholarships. We also have an event coming up tomorrow that is on our calendar that we just posted about yesterday, and it is going to be another Zoom call at 1 p.m. Texas time, and it's going to be about applying for scholarships. So if you haven't done the donor funded scholarship portal yet, you can go ahead and hop on that Zoom. The link is on our social media post, and you can get more information and ask questions about the donor funded scholarship portal in the application and everything at that time. So if you want to start it tonight and you end up having questions, that could be a really good resource for you to come talk to us tomorrow in that Zoom meeting to get more information, get your questions answered. So that's all I have for you all. Do we have any questions that I can assist with?